Hi everyone, welcome to our final session of the Grief Awareness Week. Today our session is on how grief does not discriminate. There is no one face to grieving. No matter your gender, your race, your age, your religion, your social, economic status, your educational status, whatever statuses we use, none of them can protect us from grieving. So, knowing that, we have to recognize that yes, different people will grieve differently because of their cultural background, or because of their religious background, or because of their social status. Whatever the case might be, we have to respect those boundaries. So I would like to know which one is yours. Mine is the African Christian background. My Christianity it is been put together to match with my local cultural practices. So for instance, when somebody dies in my area, that is a community event. So the community programs come to a standstill. We are a farming community, but now people stop all the farming things and they'll be coming to the homestead where the death has occurred. We have different Christian groups with different practices as well, but the person, the one that is going to have the impact is that group where the person belonged to. So that means that church will liaise with the family to come up with what they're doing. We are predominantly Christians, but we have Muslims amongst us. And so because we in Africa, we have crowds. When it comes to death, we don't have invitations. We talk of hundreds of mourners coming for the funeral, and even the days up to the burial day, we have people coming in large numbers. In some cultures, actually, when death has occurred, it's a private event. The funeral, people are invited, and sometimes actually your neighbor could die and be buried without you knowing that they were buried, just because of the way the cultural differences are. So we need to know these cultural differences so that we don't offend other people when we think we are going to support and it is outside their comfort zone. From the Christian perspective, we also have differences, and so each group deals with in their own way. But the common thing is we all find hope in the fact that there is life after death, and the fact that the church members come along to help you and support you. And after the burial, they do come to keep looking after you to see that you are okay. In some places, actually, you organize so that there are people who will be visiting the family or who will stay with the family after the burial has taken place, and gradually the people are withdrawn. When it comes to diversity, we are really ahead. For instance, we do slaughter cows when we have a death and to feed the multitude of people. But we realize that we live with Muslims who will not be able to partake of it if it was not slaughtered by one of them. So most of the time you get that the Muslim people will be the ones who will be looked for to come and slaughter the cow so that we integrate them in our activities. We also have our local dialects. So when the funeral comes, if we are just the local area people, we will use our local dialect. But if we have different people from other places, if with the different local languages, then we use Kiswahili, our national language, so that many people understand, or we have somebody translating so that people understand what is going on. One thing that I would say, both from the Christian perspective and from the African perspective, I think we need to understand that really the grieving people are not expecting you to fix them. So we need to give people time to grieve, to allow them to feel the pain without stopping them and preventing them from crying, or from giving them time. You know, you are like somebody meets you and saying, oh, by now you should have moved on. There is no time limit to when you can tell somebody by now you should be better. And also for people to know that crying is not a sign of lack of faith. It is being human. It is expressing that loss that you have because of maybe your changed circumstances financially, maybe your changed circumstances, you are grieving for a death, you are grieving for loss of your health. So it means that people can still grieve and still have their faith in God. So don't tell people when they're grieving that they're grieving like they don't have hope. It hurts and they just need to feel the pain, and they'll have to walk through that pain. So when you go to support them, allow them to grieve. If you can grieve with them, that's fine. Like from an African perspective, we all scream the place down, and that's okay. So also realize that even also in such environment where we all scream the place down, there are some people who don't scream, they just cry quietly, or they may not even cry at all in that particular time. That is still okay, because it doesn't mean that they've not felt the pain. It just means they've expressed it differently. So some will be angry, some will just be well composed, some may say nothing, some will just be like up and down. The roller coaster is different. So some could be down, some could be somewhere along the way. Don't judge them, just be there to support them. And also remember, also seeking counselors from your religious groups or from the professionals is one of the ways to deal with the grief. So don't just stay away and be strong for the community, or be strong to be seen that you are a strong Christian or you are a strong member of the family. We all need to support one another. Please reach out and accept help. Reach out and give help also without criticizing or without judging. So because there are so many different people with different cultural differences, I would like to know how your culture, how diversity has affected you, whether it is gender. Are men judged differently? Because men, like women, also have to cry. So this story of telling me men can't cry, boys don't cry, they too have to feel that pain and grieve and be part of the family, instead of taking on stress just to meet the society's expectation. The society should also now change that attitude of thinking men should just be strong and not express their emotions. How have you been coping in your community, in your society? Let us know what can be done, what is done well, and what needs to be continued. Thank you for watching, and let's keep looking for one another. Let's keep looking out for one another, because losses from different perspectives will always be part of life. The idea is to build skills that will help us to deal with the losses as they come and support one another in the journey. Thank you and take care.